we need to stop making those excuses and blaming mama and daddy
100%.
for who we are.
100%.
You can blame mama and daddy for the cause, but you can't blame them for the effect.
There you go. Or your choices later on once you become an adult.
Once you understand, like, yo, I went through some shit, but now I'm gonna be.
But that's why mental health, therapy, coaching, psychologists, seeing that, going to it. I go to one myself as a doctor. Everyone needs to be in it because it's not about us as a professional telling you your choices were right or wrong. It's about us helping you figure out the root of that choosing and the norm that you're in, and just drawing out a plan that works for where you want to be. Because a lot of people are still in the environment that they don't want to be in because that's the childhood environment they've taken with them, and they keep recreating the same pathology, and they're going crazy in that. There's lack in that because the evolution hasn't taken place. And it's not because they don't want to evolve, Nick. It's because they don't have the effective tools to do so. People who come in my session are not there saying, I always just wanted to be messed up. I don't want to evolve. No, they're saying, like, had I known this, doc, 5 years ago, I swear to God, I would have moved on it. Had I had this tool, I would have moved quicker. Had I knew this is what evolution looked like, I would have jumped a long time ago. Had I known I can jump without a life jacket, but I felt safe within myself, I would have been a professional jumper. Right? People just need to know, how do I do it? And one thing we all want to know is that we're going to be okay when we do. Everybody just wants to be okay in whatever they're doing and wherever they're going. Will I be okay?
Right.
Well, whether you there or you not, doc, will I be okay?
Right.
And they're only able to be okay when you teach people a sense of self, meaning who are you? How do you govern you? How do you manage, which is a better word for control, manage who you are? And how do you produce the experience you want? Because you don't create my experience, I do. I already came here with the experience I want. Right. You can't create that for me. You already came here with the experience you want. That's the self-mastery of knowing how to create that. And when you have that type of knowledge, you'll never be perfect, but you can somewhat try to create a norm for your child. But once they become adults like you and I did, they go and do what they gonna do anyways. So at that point, you've done what you can do. And if you're not in more of a polyamorous, relationship like you are, and you're more monogamous one-on-one, you're hoping that you put your partner first enough to where y'all still have a damn relationship, and you guys can continue to lead by example to your grown children on what a healthy relationship looks like. And it's not perfection. Another thing is this whole toxicity and dysfunctional thing, and I'm leaving this person because they're toxic. You're going to be alone. Not you, I'm saying people. You're going to be by your damn self, because let me explain something to you. If you get someone who's not toxic, it's because they're not human. In every relationship,
that's what I was saying in our first session.
Yes, every relationship has some level of healthy dysfunction and some level of healthy toxicity. There's no way for you and I to cleave together without doing some of this bumping. Right. It's not going to work like that. So we have to be okay with doing this, but the only recipe to a long-term successful relationship is to never leave. To never leave. That's the only way you can get 30, 40 years. Said. To never leave. Yeah. Because we're going to go through some things. And there's going to be a lot of things that I say, this is it. This is the non-negotiable, right? But if I really am in it to be in it forever, like from the beginning, before I meet a man, I'm saying when I commit, I'm just doing this forever. That means I'm signing up and forgiving you before you do any of the bullshit you may come with. And that's challenging, but that's what real commitment is. Commitment is I'm going to do what I said I was going to do, no matter how I feel. That goes back to what? Emotional intelligence.
Right.
Emotional intelligence is a nucleus to any healthy relationship. If I'm committing to you and you piss me off, I've committed to stay. So where am I going? Where am I going? Doesn't mean I can't take a break. Doesn't mean I can't take a pivot. I can't go to brunch. I can't meditate. Can I take a weekend of woosah? But that means I'm not leaving you. And as an abandoned woman, thank God I've evolved into a place of deeper than just not leaving you, meaning leaving the relationship, but I've also had to learn to not leave you in this emotion of distraught, because leaving you while you're in your emotion is the pit of abandonment. That's worse than me walking out and returning. I should be able to sit in this with you, upset or not upset, until our emotions do whatever they're going to do and we get back to baseline. Right. Because that is the epitome of deliverance. That's the epitome of commitment. Abandonment is, you know what? I can't deal with my emotions, so screw yours, I'm out of here. And when I feel I'm okay and I've regulated, because I don't know how to do it, I'll come back. But it's still an emotional roller coaster, and abandonment is an emotional roller coaster. What I need you to do is sit with me in this until if it take a day or 2 weeks or 5 hours, don't leave me in my pain. Even if you're just my friend, no, sit with me in this. Now, if you got to go to work, that's it. You know, baby, I got to go to work. But when I get back, let's continue to process this.
But like you said, if it's an emotional intelligence scenario, at some point, if I've tried to reason with you and you're still irate,
right,
or you're still non-compromising, I got to let you sit in that and let you have that, and then hopefully on another occasion we can find some resolve.
There you go. But you also have to, if it's someone you're already in a relationship with, and say you have already grown and evolved into your emotional intelligence and they're just not there yet, then of course you kind of have to just wait it out, do a little deliverance, wait it out, do a little deliverance, do what's best for you. But when you are, say, a person who's single or dating, you're not already in something that has been chaotic and there's some division and you're trying to atone or get that stuff to be jailed back, as a single person, you're learned, because I've learned when I was very hostile and I'm coming with it. Like I said, we come with who we are. Don't nobody give us nothing. So when I was already ready to come with it, I met men who gave me the reason to come with it. Now that I'm in a place where I'm like, not that I'm not going there with you because I have to try. I'm just not built like that no more.
Right.
And I don't have the desire to do that. The
Right.
men that I meet, and I'm dating, I'm single, but I'm dating, the men that I meet, they ain't perfect, but the conversation is more of a dialogue like this, Nick. I have literally yet, knock on wood, because I don't want to, yelled or raise my voice at a man in the past 3 years I've been dating, because of not the men, but because of what I'm calibrating, and because my approach to a man is not like, I wish you would. No, it's now like, listen, we can talk this out, you know what I mean? Or we don't have to. But I'm not going to do this with you. And I very much, I think you can tell by my personality, I very much stand on my square, and I very much stand on business. So
facts.
I don't have to emasculate you for you to know I stand on business, because more men have said, damn, you ain't no joke, by me saying, listen, do we want to have resolve right now?
Yeah.
Because I'm not about to do this with you. And you'll see a man's whole everything. I'm shift like who the hell is she? Like,
right.
What just happened right now? Because like you said, they're not used to that.
I want to touch on that for a second, because you bring up some great points, but even specifically to the single women that are watching, and they see you as a strong example. They see the empowerment. They see, but I mean, at the end of the day, what would be your advice or your insight to? I mean, because you are a single woman as well, and is the desire to get married eventually?
It is. I'm in my choosing. I said 4 or 5 months ago, I said, okay, God, I'm in my choosing stage. I'm not going to call up another wedding, because the commitment in me is different.
So and you
I'm
had, like you said, you've had plans that did not go as plan.
I've called off 2 engagements and 2 weddings, and
2 separate times? So that's 4?
2 separate times.
Damn.
Yeah, 2 separate times.
All right. So you know what you want. You gonna get what you want when you want it. What is your insight and advice to finding this husband out there?
I think it's to be completely open. I think it's to not be a stiff blade of grass. A stiff blade of grass, I say it in my book, Mental Detox, is a dying blade of grass. Meaning you have to not personalize life, but you have to live life. And you have to be okay with getting experiences without judging yourself as a woman based on what those experiences are. Whether the experience is a week or a month or a year and it doesn't work, you gotta be able to give fully what you want to give and what you want to invest without feeling like you were robbed in the event it doesn't work. Because the feeling of robbery then dissipates you and your value and makes you question who you are and puts you in a doubtful space. And if we're talking about law of attraction, you can't attract high functioning from a place of low vibration. So you have to make sure that you understand that life is not doing nothing to you, it's doing it for you. It's meant to be lived and not personalized, and be okay with your experiences. And for the women who are up in age, when I say up in age, you could be in your 30s and you're not married yet and you are in your career or you're trying to figure things out. Make your self-talk question not be, why am I not married yet? Let your self-talk question and dialogue be, I'm proud of myself that I didn't choose out of despair, that I allowed myself as a woman to choose on my terms, on my time, and when I felt like it. Because when you do it like that, then it's more apt to work. So take your time and do you, and don't personalize it, because you have a lot of people who already been married a few times. That could easily be you. But for the people who have been married a few times and do have kids and they're co-parenting, I would say that number 1, too, get your emotional intelligence up. If you don't have a therapist and you can't afford it, read books on it. YouTube has free videos on emotional intelligence. And the best way to implement knowledge, because knowledge is not power, the implementation of knowledge is power, is to go out there and experience it. So for like myself, I had to date and get into conflict with men so that I can use my emotional intelligence tool. And I remember when I first started trying to use it, I'm like, damn, I totally messed that up. I blew that. Like, I totally blew that, right? I didn't mean to emasculate him, but damn, I didn't mean to come off that strong. I blew that up. But now it's to the point where it's on autopilot.
Yeah.
And I know the dialogue and I know the level of relationship I want. And then two, don't knock yourself for showing up in ways that go against your ideology.
Right.
And be open to dating someone who is outside of your norm of what you think he should be, because what you think he should be is based on what you've already experienced.
Yeah.
And if what you experience is what you want, baby, go back.
Yeah.
But if not, be open to it. And
Now-
let yourself be full woman, full feminine, full that. You don't, I always say I'm hybrid, meaning I'm alpha submissive, because I'm definitely alpha, but I'm definitely submissive. And I couldn't be with a man that I couldn't be submissive with. Like if my alpha is
wanna feel
always
safe.
in prone with you, then I like submitting. I like loving on you.
You hit exactly where I want to go. So in this, because even in the way you conduct yourself, even the intellect and the wisdom that you possess, it comes off very alpha and probably is intimidating to a lot of men. And then so either you find yourself being combative with another alpha, or you find yourself overtaking a man that can't match that energy.
I love that. I love that you said that. My last fiance was epitome of alpha, just alpha, no beta, alpha. And it actually showed me submissive sides of me that I didn't know exist, that I fell in love with. And so when you're with an alpha who's a true alpha, there is safety there. And everything about your femininity, about your submissiveness will arise, and everything about your alpha dormants naturally. And so we didn't have an alpha battle because it was something about his true alpha essence that turned me on so much that I wanted to stay in my feminine so that he can stay in the balancing, right, of alpha. Because had I moved to alpha, we wouldn't have been equally yoked. Does that make sense? Either he would have had to go beta, or we would have done this. And his alphaness, because it was the first time I was with a true alpha man, was so attractive to me that from the kitchen to the bedroom, it made me wide open submissive in ways that I didn't even, I remember saying I don't want to do them things. And I started saying, when we gonna do them things again? Because I was so in my feminine. And let me say this, ladies and Nick, that one experience may have not worked, but that is what ignited my femininity in me. And from there, Nick, I've never gone back. Like every man that I've calibrated has been in his alpha that has allowed me to stay in my submissiveness.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And so it's the law. That man was so pivotal in shifting my calibration for me that even though it didn't work, that was a blessing in itself.